What's up, guys? My name is Ron from Comics and Stuff, and today we're gonna open this big bad boy in the Marvel's Legends Retro Card Apocalypse. And guys, I actually don't know what to do with this figure. I mean, I am a big fan of these retro cards. I am a big fan of the X-Men animated series line also. So I'm a fan of anything that gives you feelings of nostalgia when you got it, you know? And this gives me feelings of nostalgia, except that there's one problem that I do have. And I got another of these retro cards here, just to show off what it is. It's the size. It's the size. I mean, I got a bunch of these in their plastic, and this just stands out like a sore thumb. But perhaps that's a good thing. Anyway, let's get into the packaging because it is super cool. As usual, per the case on these, retro cards, it comes in a window box showing the figure itself as well as the accessories. Shows you a little description of what the character, in most cases, what they do over here. What he does is just ancient evil. That's all. Marvel's Apocalypse right here. He got some nice artwork. Uncanny X-Men at the top, warnings, Marvel Comics logo, as well as several X-Men faces right here, giving you again another sense of nostalgia with old school comics. And there's a legalities barcode, a product shot of the figure, Apocalypse in black and white, Uncanny X-Men, Marvel, and there's also a nice description saying, "Look upon the future and tremble. He is Apocalypse, the world's most powerful mutant, and from the ashes of our world, he will build a better one." So, guys, they are literally quoting the X-Men animated series. This Apocalypse is about as close to the colors of the X-Men animated series that we have gotten thus far. So, why put him in this line? I don't know. I mean, I think the size of him and everything would have perhaps been better suited to the box sets of the X-Men animated series line, so I don't know. Anyway, now that we did get into the packaging and everything, let's open it up and check out the figure. Alright, and here we have Apocalypse outside of his package, and as expected, guys, he is a big boy. But how big is he? Well, he stands at just right there, basically 8 inches. Which puts him in Build-A-Figure category, which makes sense because he does come from a Build-A-Figure. Now, he does have quite a number of accessories right here. Let's start off with these pipings because, they're a noticeable part of Apocalypse. Now, I do think I'm correct with this way that I put them in. I think the bent piece goes in the back right here. And it plugs like so. The material is super flexible, so easy to move around and bend. The other piece goes there. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I'm pretty sure that was correct way. If I'm not correct, tell me in the comments. And like I said, it's super flexible, so you could pose it like how you want it and stuff. And eventually, yeah, it'll come off, but you could readjust it always and replug it back to make it into what basically you'll get the poses that you need from it. So that's pretty cool. The next one we'll go through is these two-fisted hands, and of course you would need two-fisted hands because of eventually Apocalypse would want to throw a punch or something like that. So much needed to the accessory list. And one of the cool accessories, basically probably the star of the show other than the Apocalypse, is this gun right here that got these 3 effects, these small effects. I already plugged them in, but as you can see, easy to plug in. This big one now, there's 2 plugs for this big one. You could put it where the small effects are, but be aware of the blast radius. You would have to, find the spot where the blast radius doesn't interfere with it as much. I like putting it on the opposite side because, yeah, doesn't interfere with it much, and it looks, I think, a little bit better. But you guys do it how you want to do it. It is a clear, translucent red plastic that's pretty gummy. And as you can see, mine is a little warped. I might have to heat that up and straighten it out later. But if you guys want to see how it does go in, you would have to take off this hand. And since you can't put it on over the gauntlet, this gauntlet is a separate piece. You would have to get rid of that too. There is a peg in the bottom. Plug it into the arm. Hold up. There we go. And put the big effect like so. Now that looks cool. Yeah, that looks cool. Really, really happy with that accessory. And now the final accessory. Let's take this out. The final accessory is this head sculpt. And I'm also very happy with this head sculpt. These are like, you know, two discerning different faces. One is the Insabanur face. The other one's like an Apocalypse face. Stern, angry. So it does got shading. The sculpt is beautiful. There's a little bit of a yellow in his eyes that just makes his eyes even stand out to be more menacing. So that's super cool. I only got one gripe with the head, is that the top piece is a separate piece, you know, so they would have to paint that little bit of skin. Over here, it's a little noticeable. You can still see the line. Over here, not as noticeable at all. I mean, you can't even tell from a distance. On this one, you still could. So I'm going to have this one in my display. That's, yeah, that sucks, but hey, whatever. They both look good. I am happy with that. Let me take this out. All right, I'm going to leave this without the gauntlet, guys. Might help if I put the right hand, though. All right. Now let's go to the sculpt, because this I want to talk about. I do like the colors. The colors is obviously heavily inspired from the X-Men animated series. This plastic is of is more of a matte than the rest of the plastic. So I do like that. There's nice detail in the boots, nice lines and everything. The shoulder pads got like little dents and things, at least in mine. I don't know if that's like if it's manufactured like that, or because it is a soft material. Maybe mine is just like that. I don't know. But there are little things like that that would help it stand out more with a wash. And that's my main gripe with this figure, is that it's basically just plastic, no wash, no shading. It is on a cool body. The details are there. I do like how it looks with the colors, with the different plastics. But man, a little wash would have gone a long way. For real. Which makes me also think that, alright, a little wash would have gone a long way. But since this is like the animated Apocalypse, I'm not too mad about it, because the no shading, you know, it gives it more of a cartoony look. And if I do want a more detailed Apocalypse, then the Diamond Select version is right around the corner. So I will get me that. This will probably just go into my X-Men animated series display, which they need like more bad guys of. And I think this would have just fit better with that line and stuff, because it gives it a cartoony look and, you know, give it that cell shading that the X-Men animated series is so well known for. And I think it would have suited it best. Anyway, now that we did get into the sculpt and how it looks and everything like that, let's get into the articulation. His head comes in a ball hinge, and mine's is a little stiff, guys, but he could look back that much. And forward. Oh, you see how stiff? Well, he could look like that if you choose it. But yeah, nobody's going to choose him to look like that. He does got a little bit of tilt, so that's that. His arms go up yay high, which is not, isn't perfectly straight, but it'll do. It can rotate all around, but you would have to move it away from the shoulder pad because it does tend to get in the way. He got a bicep swivel, which again, his obliques right here will tend to get in the way, so you can't just do it like that. You would have to put it a little bit like that. Maybe even bring it, that's as much far back as you could do it. You know, that's as far out as you could rotate the bicep. So yeah, you would have to pull it out a little bit. Anyway, he does have a single joint elbow. But the bad thing about this single joint, the bad thing about this is the gauntlet itself gets in the way and you will start pinching it. So you don't want to mess it up. You know, you would try to slide even as far down as you can slide it. That's about as much range as you'll get, you know, without really damaging the gauntlet. Now, without the gauntlet, he does get his full range of movement that he should be getting, which is a 90-degree mark. So that's cool. The ab crunch allows him to go forward that much. Allows him to go back that much. He does got a waist swivel, but the belt is on top of it, and the belt is plugged into the back. So, you know, twisting him and turning him will warp it a bit. So, yeah, be aware of that. His legs split pretty good. That's not bad. They go up pretty good too. They go back just a tad. He's got a thigh cut, which works just fine. He's got double jointed knees that work about there, which isn't bad considering how bulky his boots are. And he doesn't got a boot cut. He doesn't got a boot cut or not, but you do get rotation on the ankle, which allows you to go back this much, forward that much, and you got some pivot there. So, this Apocalypse figure, I do like it, guys. I do like it. Like I said, I do think it will find its place in my X-Men animated series shelf. And I might have to use the Diamond. Yeah, I might have to use the Diamond Select version for my main Apocalypse. Anyway, now that we did get into the figure, let's go through some comparisons and see how that works out. All right, and here we have Apocalypse sized up with Wolverine and Cyclops. And I do like this comparison. Apocalypse pretty much, stands over them. So yeah, this looks pretty good. And up next, representing the females, we have the Age of Apocalypse Jean Grey. And again, I do like the size difference between the two, so no complaints here. And finally, we have him here with the Age of Apocalypse, which is the only other Apocalypse that I do have. I don't have the Build-A-Figure one. I did put the gun right there in case you guys were wondering how that looks. And although the purples don't quite match with this Apocalypse, the reds actually do. So I do not think it's a bad look. Now these Apocalypse do share, several parts together like you would expect, but it's basically just the thighs onto the knees and the arms. I believe the torso is different as well as the boots and the knees. So there's that. I do have two of the neutral heads. We're going to do some face swaps. Oops, had it on the wrong side. But yeah, we're going to do some face swaps, see how that works out. And yeah, guys, I do not like how this turned out at all. Like, I do think that this head is a little too big for, maybe it's just right for this body, but I do think this head is just a little too small for that body. It just doesn't look right. It doesn't look well. I wouldn't do it, but you guys do what you want with your figures. Anyway, what do you guys think about this figure? Do you guys like it? Do you think it was probably better suited for the X-Men animated series line? Are you getting the Diamond Select version instead of this one? Let me know down in the comments. And if you did like the video, hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't, because yeah, I'm gonna try to put up videos as much as possible, guys. So subscribe if you want to stay tuned. My name is Ron from Comics and Stuff, and I'll check you guys on the next episode. Peace.